8:31, welcome back to first step, our final segment here this morning. We're moving fast and furious. And I say fast and furious with some level of deliberate intention. We're really happy to have TNT's Olympic silver medalist, Richard Thompson. Richard, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning, man. Especially on the short notice call yesterday.
No problem.
And congratulations on your 9.58. A new national record. 9.85, sorry. I wish it was 9.58. 9.85, which is your new personal best national record. How do you feel about that?
It's a great feeling. I've been working hard for the last couple of years, and I've been able to get back to where I was in 2008 at the Olympic Games when I ran 9.89. So after all the hard work and sacrifices that I made, it's a great feeling to have the national record now and a personal best, obviously.
The fact that the track has been certified, that telegraphs to all of your contemporaries around the world that you're a force to be reckoned with. Has anyone called you and, started the psychological warfare yet?
No. None of my competitors have said anything to me about the run. I guess 2 weeks before Worlds, no one wants to boost my confidence going into the championships. So actually the only person I've heard from is Jaisuma Nadori from Norway. We are really good friends, and he called me and congratulated me. So he's the only one, but no one else has said anything. So.
Let's take it back to when your name shot to national prominence, when you won that silver medal.
Right.
Tell us about what that feeling was like. Refresh our memories as to what that feeling is like for a young man from Trinidad and Tobago going up against the big guns and actually having an entire country bursting into euphoria.
I think this weekend was, a really satisfactory weekend because I was able to do it in front of family and friends, and just to a certain extent I expected to run as well as I ran this weekend, having done what I did in the past. When I ran 9.89 and won a silver medal, I don't think anyone was expecting it. Probably only my mom and dad, because how parents are about their kids and they feel as though they can do anything. But with me going into the championships, my goal was just to make the final, and based on how I was running that year, I felt like I could possibly pull a bronze medal. So winning the silver medal was, a very, very ecstatic feeling for me. And I still think this weekend, having broken a national record, running a personal best and everything, wasn't as satisfying as the Olympic Games. So hopefully next year in London I'm able to duplicate that performance or even better.
Let's refresh our memories as to how Richard's spectacular performance this past weekend at the Haley Crawford Stadium.
The favorite for this year's race, both Thompson, the Olympic silver medals, and defending champion, and Keston Bledman, who up to the time of the event had clocked the fastest time by a local over the distance for the year. It was then time for the moment of truth, and in the race between the likes of Darren Brown and Mark Burns as contenders, it was Thompson who took control in the latter half of the race to scorch the brand new Haley Crawford track in 9.85 seconds, with Bledman second in 10.06 and Aaron Armstrong third in 10.07 seconds, with Mark Burns rounding up the top four. Earlier in the day, the ladies had their chance of glory, and in the absence of Kelly and Batiste, it was Simoy Hackett who took gold in 11 seconds flat. Kai Sullivan was the runner-up in 11.19 seconds, and coming in third was Pan American Junior champion Michel Liaï. Kent Fuentes.
That's Richard Thompson blasting his way into the history books in Trinidad and Tobago this past weekend.
Richard, I want to find out from you, after having seen the video of that race over and over again, how many technical problems did you pick up? At how many points did you say to yourself, I should have done something different and I may have got a faster time? Or have you not done that to yourself at all?
I looked at the race a couple of times, and maybe around, between 25 to 30 meters, I felt like I came up a little too quickly, and maybe my transition could have been a bit smoother, and at the end I didn't dip. I just ran through the line as opposed to dipping at the line. So maybe it could have been a little faster, but that's how it goes most of the times. You hear people always say, I ran my personal best, but in that race I could have done X, Y, and Z differently. But that's just not how it goes sometimes. When you relax and you just run through the line, that's when you run your best time.
Is it that you were so far ahead of the rest of the field that you relaxed and you didn't stick to the technical accuracies that you were taught in training?
About 60 meters, I realized that I was ahead of everybody else, and you know, I stayed relaxed, which is what I should have done. But maybe 5 meters from the line, I could have run a little harder. But as I said just now, you know, sometimes when you're trying too hard, you don't run as fast as you could run when you just relax. So maybe it was for a reason, and I just ran better that way.
Let's talk about your training regimen. You've been in Louisiana, but have been training primarily in Dallas. What's that transition like from going from Trinidad to Tobago, doing this fantastic work, and going back into training, thinking of the Olympics next year? And even before that, you're heading off to, is it Korea?
Yes, Korea. Yeah. Well, we're actually leaving tomorrow morning to head to Korea with the team, and we should get in on Friday. So hopefully when we get to Korea, we're able to just get the massage therapist to get that jet lag out of us, because it's going to be a very long flight over there. And once we get to Korea, we hope that the team does very well. We have a very strong contingent. Kellyanne Batiste has been having a phenomenal season. I think she can medal in the 100. J.U. Gordon is looking good. Our 4x1 looks good. And hopefully we do well in South Korea. But as far as next year, it's just a matter of refocusing and doing the things that, you know, I've been doing in the past in order to get myself back to the top 3 in the world. And I feel as though I need to get a little stronger. You know, as you can see, I put on a little bit of size in the upper body. But I still feel like I need to get stronger, maybe do a lot more squats next year, get stronger in my power cleans, my bench press, and so on, because I feel like the weight room is where I've been lacking a little bit. So if I can get a little stronger next year, put on about 5 more pounds, I should be ready to go.
Why is it so important that a sprinter, because you keep thinking a sprinter should be someone who's lean and who could cut through the wind like a knife, but why is it so important for a sprinter to have such muscular bulk on them?
Well, it's not necessarily about the bulk, but it's more about power than anything else. A lot of people looked at me in Beijing. They said, but you were smaller than everybody else on the line. But what they didn't realize is that I was probably just as powerful as everybody else on the line, apart from Usain Bolt and maybe Asafa Powell. So, you know, it's all about having functional strength as opposed to just being muscular and bulky.
In terms of your preparation, the runners like yourself, sprinters like yourself, are considered the elite athletes of any Olympic Games. I mean, you have 2 weeks of Olympics, but it comes down to the 100 meters and the 200 meter races,
right,
of which both you participate in. How do you feel about the Jamaicans and their success? One, I mean, it looks good for the whole Caribbean region, and the fact that you're seeing some of the Jamaicans, including Usain Bolt, now having some injury issues, and how do you protect yourself from that in your training?
I just think you have to be smart about the things that you do in training. You have to give your coach feedback, because sometimes a coach has his plan for his athletes, he has a plan for you, but it doesn't necessarily always work the way he wants it to from your end. So you have to give him feedback and let him know, coach, you know, today I don't feel 100%, I don't feel that good, so maybe I have to back off of 1 or 2 of the runs. So it's all about altering the program to suit you and tailoring a program to suit you, as opposed to you know, doing what everyone else is doing in practice, because, you know, it's a big group with the Jamaicans. There's the MVP club, and then there's the Racers club. And let's just say we're talking about Racers club with Usain Bolt and Johan Blake. They're both different people, so what works for Usain may not necessarily be in the best interests of Johan Blake. So any great coach would tailor it to suit the athlete and make adjustments. But to answer your question about how do I feel about the Jamaicans, I mean, obviously they've been doing well, and not just in the sprints, they've been doing well in multiple events. But with track and field or any sport that you step into, you have to have a positive approach. So we've been doing well. Keston Bledman ran 9:93 this year. You know, Mark hasn't been having his best season, but a lot of people didn't realize that Mark actually got food poisoning earlier on this year, and, you know, he tried stepping back into it a little too quickly, and his body wasn't able to recover. But Mark is one who I have a lot of respect for in terms of his ability to get it done. When it's time to get it done, he gets into the finals, and, you know, when we call on him on the second leg on the 4x1, he's able to step it up and run a very good leg for us. So I mean, that being said, I think we have a very strong team going into the World Championships this year, and I think we can have an even stronger team heading into the Olympics next year. But it's just a matter of staying focused on doing the right things.
Richard, just clear up a couple things for us. We heard that there was a little bit of a static with the N3As in terms of getting you to come home. There was some sort of a scheduling conflict. Could you just clear the air on that for us?
What happened is we were supposed to have the national championships in June, which we usually do, and they weren't able to get the track done in time. So because of that, they had to push back, they had to postpone the games. And see, the thing is, they could have had it earlier, but the professionals like Kelly and myself, Bledman, we had meets in Europe that we had already committed to because we're professionals. This is our job, and obviously, I mean, this is how we earn our living. So they didn't want to conflict that, so they scheduled a date after that, which was 2 weeks before the World Championships. And I mean, my grouse with that decision was that, you know, when you step into championships, when you step into any championship meet, you put so much effort into it mentally, physically, and emotionally. You know, it's almost like you're on a complete high, and afterwards, it's the opposite. You're on a complete low. So it would have been difficult to recover in time for the World Championships. But as I said, everything happens for a reason, and God does everything for a reason. And
yeah, because after this weekend, you're going into a high knowing that you put down 985.
Yeah, it's all about having confidence as well, you know, and that's a good thing about this weekend. That's a good thing I can draw from my race over the weekend. You know, it's been a rough season for me, and prior to this meet, my seasonal best was 10:01. So having run in 985, it gives me a lot more confidence stepping into the meet, and it possibly puts me in a better position in terms of the seeding and the race that I would get and the lineup that I would get in my quarterfinals.
Especially with the certified track.
Yes, with the certified track.
Okay, Torpedo Thompson, sprint professional. Let's talk about the money. How have the endorsements been going, and how much of a hot property
Don't you see him flat out in Nike?
Tell us about that.
Flat out in Nike, I guess?
Yeah, I have to say special thanks to my sponsors, Nike. You know, obviously they provide all the equipment and the financial support that I need. And I also have to say thanks to NP, who are my local sponsors, and you know, they've been extremely helpful in my preparation towards this year. So.
Speaking of local sponsors, how important do you think it is for athletes like yourself, who would have seen Hazley Crawford and Arthur Bolden when you were coming up, run at home to inspire young people back at home? Because the young people seeing a Richard Thompson, a Keston Bledman,
right,
coming home to run in these local meets adds credibility to our track certification also.
Yeah, no doubt about that, because I remember as a youngster being in the stadium and seeing Arthur run, you know, in '96 when he won the bronze medal in Atlanta, and Sydney 2000 when he won the silver medal. You know, it gave me confirmation that, you know, not just the Americans and the Brits can do it internationally, but that was confirmation for me that, you know, a local, somebody from Trinidad and Tobago, or a small island, is capable of being a world beater. So, you know, not just in track and field, but, you know, I had idols like Brian Lara, who I looked up to a lot, and who I still look up to and admire because of his ability to be a world champion at what he does. But you know, that's definitely the case. When you see someone else do it, you know, it gives you confirmation that you're capable of doing it as well, and you believe it. And once you believe something, you're capable of achieving it.
Just looking at some of the headlines, you know, that have come out since your phenomenal run from Louisa State University Sports. Former track star Thompson runs 985 100 meters. This is the Jamaica Gleaner. TT's Thompson sounds Daegu warning. Antigua Observer, Thompson sizzles with a 985 at Nationals. I mean, these are really great headlines. And then there's another online newsletter, Torpedo and Batiste to lead a TT to Worlds. You know, I mean, when you see those headlines, does that put additional pressure on you? Do you have to go into that Zen space to just block out all of that so you remain focused?
I wouldn't say that there's any pressure on me, really. I guess after this weekend's run, Trinidad and Tobago expects a lot from here, the World Championships, and that's understandable. And obviously, as usual, I'll be putting my best foot forward. But as I've been seeing, and you know, a lot of people ask me about my medal contention now, and I just tell them I'm staying grounded. I'm not trying to get caught up in all the hype that has come with the one run this weekend. You know, I have to be able to reproduce that run in Daegu, and that's when it matters. You know, as much as I was able to come home and have a great race this weekend, I care more about doing it 2 weeks from now, because that's what I've put all the effort and hard work into.
Speaking of 2 weeks from now, the squad has been named and notoriously left out, Darrell Brown.
Right.
How do you feel about his omission from that team, knowing that you've run with him and performed so long with him, and he has been one of the big names in Trinidad and Tobago moving forward, and now he's not part of that team?
It's a bit disappointing. A bit disappointing. We would have liked to have Darrell on the team, but as I said, God, you know, works in mysterious ways, and maybe this is a blessing for Darrell that he's not included in the team, because we know his history with injuries. He's been unfortunate, but Ashwin Creed and Trevor Hewitt have been doing a great job in getting him back to full health and strength this year. And I think next year he will be able to be part of the 4x1 team again. He'll be able to be part of the individual 100 at the Olympics next year. He has the potential to do it, and I just wish him all the best in his recovery. I believe he should be on the Pan Am Games team, and when we look at his season so far, every single race that he has run, he has gotten better and he's gotten more confidence. And I think anyone who goes through any type of injury has a mental injury, and he's finally beginning to heal mentally and physically. So I expect great things from him in the Pan Am Games this year.
We're going to open the phone lines in a short while to take some of your interaction with your fans, because I know people are lining up to call, and you can start dialing now to talk to Richard Thompson. Just before we go to break, the issue of drug testing in athletics is big on any athlete's mind,
right?
Given the tenuous nature of what is allowed, what is not allowed. You can't take cough syrup. We can't even offer you a glass of tea this morning,
right?
Isn't that so? You just can't eat anything just like that. Tell us about how that is for an elite athlete like yourself, and having all these restrictions, understandably so, but then there are all these gray areas that can affect your credibility.
Right, they always say, you know, the responsibility is on the athlete, because you are responsible for what goes into your system. But it's unfortunate in some cases, like we see the recent case with Michael Rogers. He went to this club in Italy, and he was having a bit of alcohol. He was mixing the alcohol with, he wanted Red Bull, but they didn't have Red Bull. There was some other energy drink that they gave him that they told him was similar to Red Bull, and he tested positive for that. So I mean, it's just a matter of every athlete being careful of what they put into their system. But it's funny, because you have to tiptoe around everything that you put into your system. You have to be careful about what you're eating, what you're drinking. You're so unsure of if something will make you test positive or not.
Even if someone innocently offers you something that is on your okay list, you still need to be careful.
Exactly. So
you can't just accept water from anyone.
Well, the thing is, if someone is giving me water, I actually want it to be sealed before I drink it.
What about sabotage, though? You know, sabotage by
There have been claims of sabotage in the past. We've seen the case of Justin Gatlin. He actually said that his massage therapist had massaged him with a testosterone cream. You know, but I'm not too sure about
that technical now.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people come up with excuses as well, so you never know who to trust or who not to trust. And as far as what other people do, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know in my case, you know, I'm really careful about the people that I work with. I've been working with Zephyrinius Nicholas, which is one of our local massage therapists. So I know as far as someone's sabotaging me from that angle with the massage therapist, I don't have to worry about that, because you know, my local people are looking out for me, and they want to see me do better than anyone else. And you know, I'm really careful about what goes into my system. So
because of where you are now in your career, has that forced you to change the way you look at people coming into your life? Do you sort of put everyone, you know, through the screening system automatically without even realizing that you're doing it?
I would be lying if I said I didn't. You know, to be honest, I'm a bit cautious about who comes into my life, because I'll be very honest about something. In 2008, when I came back home from the Olympics, you know, everyone showed me so much love. Everyone loved Richard Thompson. And the minute I started not running as well as I ran in 2008, I could see the difference. You know, a lot of people who I thought were my true friends and supporters, you know, and I started hearing all the bad things that people were saying about me. And, you know, it just made me sit back and really put things into perspective. And I have to say thanks to the people who have always supported me, my family, and my certain friends, Shane, Jabari, Aaron, Kenyon, Dante, Richard Makano. Those are the people who have always been in my corner. And I really have to say thanks to them. My aunt, Auntie Jessie, and Uncle Ronnie, they know exactly what I've been going through. And they're always there to mentor me and keep me grounded and give me motivation when I'm in my downtime. So, yeah, I'm definitely cautious about it.
Double-edged sword.
Exactly.
We're going to include your telephone call, 622-4141, extension 4. You can call and congratulate Richard Thompson and spur him on to the upcoming championships in Korea. Let's talk about that. What are you looking forward to from that? What are your hopes and aspirations for that, given the fact that, as you said, every meet that you perform well, it augurs well for your credibility, boosts your confidence moving into the next meet. And we're really into preparation mode for the Olympics now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I've been putting a lot of hard work into the World Championships, and as much as things have been going that well this year, it's just a matter of peaking at the right time. You know, a lot of the meets I sacrificed earlier this year because I knew that I had to continue putting the work in. So I was still lifting weights, I was still doing hard runs the week of meets. So, you know, people would have seen me coming 4th, 5th, 6th in certain races. But we had a plan, and we knew that this time of the year is when we wanted to run fast. So I think things are coming together at the right time, and I plan to incorporate the same methods for next year going into the Olympics.
Queue up. You're on line for Richard Thompson. Go ahead, please. Hello, queue up. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Richard. Are you going?
Good morning.
Ricardo, Junior's partner.
Hey, Ricardo, how are you doing?
I'm fine, man. I just called the here. I was in the stadium on Saturday. Fantastic job.
I know you're always down there. Thanks, man.
Yeah, overwhelmed with pride, boy. Tears came to my anger. Like, that was our best race partner.
Nice to give you that feeling, man. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, my wife and my baby was there too, and I can't tell you how loud we screamed, but I didn't have a voice on front. And congratulations again, and best of luck in Korea, but I really wish I could have been there.
Yeah, thanks, man. Maybe next year London. I know you and Junior will be there.
Yeah, definitely. I know that for sure.
For sure.
Alright.
Any country going through difficult times, do athletes realize what you mean to us? You can answer that after we take Shagwana. Shagwana, good morning.
Yeah, morning. Simply wanted to say congratulations to Richard. I admit I was one of those little bit concerned when you hear he come in 5th and so on. I mean, you want your boy to do well.
Right.
And speaking in particular as a old QRC boy, you know, we looking to see QRC fellas do really, really well. I was in school with both his father and his uncle. When I say his uncle, I'm talking about Tansley. He would understand what I mean.
Right.
And we're looking forward to Korea, and more importantly, I am hoping to be in London to see you next year. And don't let anything get in your way, because I know Bolt hard to beat, but on a good day, even the best fellas could get beat, right? So we're looking out for the best in London. Right? All the best to you, man.
Thank you.
Okay. That was Short Pants from Talk City 91.1 FM. Good morning, Short Pants.
You have Q-Rep?
Yeah, I think we've got Q-Rep on the line now. Good morning to you, Q-Rep. Hello? Okay. We seem to be having trouble with that call. Post-Olympics 2012, because I'm sure you're planning in your mind already what's going to be happening with your career. Post-Olympics 2012, what's on the cards for Richard Thompson?
To be honest, I haven't planned beyond 2012 as yet. I know we'll have the World Championships. I believe it's in Russia in 2013. But I don't intend to be running past 2016. And as far as post-track and field, you know, I would like to be a manager and help a lot of the local athletes at home. We have a lot of talent. You know, we look at people like Michel Liailly and Kai Selvon, who are the future of Trinidad and Tobago sprinting, Jamal James, in the 100 meter who was able to make the final with the seniors this weekend, and he's just a junior. So there's a lot of talent, and I would like to help the local athletes in Trinidad and Tobago.
This elite athlete program that's in place, that the government put in place, how can it be tweaked to make our elite athletes even greater superstars than it's already been doing? Because you're one of the beneficiaries of that program.
Right. I think so far they've been doing a great job. The Ministry of Sport has been providing a lot of good help for our athletes. When I speak to a lot of the other athletes from different countries, and you hear the funding that we're receiving, we're definitely blessed and we're fortunate. However, in terms of the timing in which it's done, a lot of the times you have people waiting to get the funding so that they can train. So I think if they're implementing that system, it's not about the amount of money, but getting it done on time, because you had certain athletes this year who weren't able to go over to their training base abroad because they hadn't received the funding on time. So, I mean, that's the only problem I have with it, you know, getting it done on time. But in terms of the amount of funding and so on, it's...
Marval, you have exactly 20 seconds. Go ahead, please. Thanks for holding. Marval, go ahead, please.
Hi, morning.
Yeah, you got 20 seconds. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marval.
Oh, Richard.
Morning, Marval. Hello?
Richard.
Yeah, how are you doing?
You hear me?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Quincy here, brother.
Hey, how are you doing, Quincy?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright, man. I mean, this call, as you know, would be a little more emotional than anything else, because as a old star boy, seeing you grow up under me, I really consider him a brother, and I'm very, very proud of you. I will let you know that. You know that already. We all know that.
All right, thank you. We're going to have to cut you, Quincy, because we have 20 seconds. But thanks for the call. Richard, thanks for being with us, man.
All right.
Continued
Thanks for having
success.
me.
We're looking forward to great things. Continued success to you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, and that's going to do it for today's show here on Face Up the